want to first appreciate all of you for responding to our call and to ensuring that we can engage on Itas. So the Itas, as you all know, for most of our systems that we've used have been fragmented. So what the Itas does is trying to bring together all the facets and components of the tax administration. So when you are dealing with GRA, then you are dealing as a composite institution with a 360 view of the taxpayer.
As a firm, Deloitte, and being part of this conversation, I think for me is exciting. I work for taxpayers and good number of taxpayers, and more often than not, the conversation around how the tax system in terms of administration, compliance, how we want it to be flexible for taxpayers to be able to file and pay taxes. A platform like this will make it very flexible for taxpayers to be able to file their returns and pay their taxes.
Looking at the fact that already the old data in the gateways has been imported onto this system, for me is fantastic. So it's not like we are now going to re-key in your data. I mean, it's only for you to validate. So once you put in your TIN or your Ghana card, you are able to see all the information that you had already. So for me, that stands out. It's something that will make it easier for me. All I need to do is validate or to confirm.
Conversations that came up here bordered on issues around early filing of returns. Now, from the feedback that came from the authorities at the Revenue Authority, you could clearly see a willingness to go back to relook at some of these things. So in that light, I would not call it a bottleneck. My approach to new systems is that we should allow the new systems to work, and then we keep building upon this. So once again, thumbs up to the GRA for this, and I look forward to a system that makes dealing with the revenue a lot easier than it currently is.
The development of our nation, Ghana, requires institutions that are modern, responsive, and trusted. At GRA, we have embarked on a journey of reforms and modernization of our tax administration system. A modernization that involves building systems that are easier to navigate, providing services that are responsive to the needs of our taxpayers, designing and implementing processes that are transparent, and above all, making decisions that are better supported by data. The reforms are not simply about technology. They are about building a human-centered relationship between GRA and our taxpayers. This relationship involves reducing friction and disputes, deepening taxpayer education, enhancing voluntary compliance, building trust and strengthening confidence, and above all, forging a partnership with our taxpayers that ensures that citizens and businesses embrace the responsibility of honoring their tax obligation so that together we can raise the needed domestic revenue for our nation's development. The Integrated Tax Administration System, Itas, is one of the more visible parts of our work. It connects key tax processes to a clearer experience for our taxpayers and their advisors. The success of our modernization process is not only about the system. Indeed, it's about the entire ecosystem in the tax administration process. And this involves tax practitioners, accounting firms, finance managers, professional bodies, and the media. You trust in a shared responsibility. Thank you for being part of this reform process.
Shall we welcome the Commissioner General, Mr. Anthony Kwesi-Sapong, with a round of applause. He's joining us. We also have the Deputy Commissioner, Ops 1, and the project owner, Mr. Robert Badegbe here. Please put your hands together for him as well. We have Assistant Commissioner, the Project Business Lead, Mrs. Emilia Assam here as well. Please put your hands together for her. We have other officials from the GRA here as well. And there's a man who is very bold to use his Christian name that his parents have given him, Joseph. Joseph Menu will be giving us the Itas overview. Joseph, please give us a wave. Do you know why I say you are bold to use the name Joseph? I'm also a Joseph. And when I discovered that Joseph is the nickname for a cat and some boys eat a lot of cats, I felt endangered, so I stopped using the name Joseph. So you are very bold to be using the name Joseph. And I can see my very good friend, CEO of AGI, Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa here. Please put your hands together for CEO of AGI, Seth Chum Akwabwa. My name once again is Kojo Akoto Boateng. I'm a co-host of the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, and I'm also a farmer and a technology advocate. Is that Samson Asaki Awengobit I see there? Samson, is that you? Please give us a wave. Hey, exporters. I have a relationship with Samson. We gave him an office at the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. Nice office, and he's not been using it, so I've taken over. Because I want to be as big as him, so I pay more taxes. It's good to see you, Samson. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are welcome to this very important program. Personally, when I sit on radio every morning, I'm thinking about infrastructure, I'm thinking about agric, I'm thinking about communication systems, education. And we can only get these things done if the country gets the right revenues. A lot of us believe that there's a lot of opportunity and capacity to generate more revenue. But to generate the revenue, we also need to make it easier for businesses to understand the processes and do it right. That's why GRA has gone and then put all the technologies and the thinking together to bring you the integrated tax administration system. So that's why we are here. It's largely about you. You are 90% of the reason why we are here. The 10% is for GRA officers to actually engage you and help you understand the system so that together we build Ghana together. And without spending more time, I'd like you to help me invite the Commissioner General to give us the welcome and the opening remarks. And if you are a compliant taxpayer, please let the applause be resounding for the Commissioner General, Mr. Anthony Kwesi Sapon. Oh, we are all compliant.
Thank you. As you see, real Ghana cedis in government account. So let me acknowledge the business association leaders who are here present with us. And let me also acknowledge all of you for making time to join us this morning on an important conversation on Itas. Let me also acknowledge my colleagues from GRA, deputy commissioners. We have our deputy commissioner of SWAN, who is here. Most of you know him, Robert. We have deputy commissioner Florence Asante, who is in charge of our communication and public affairs, and all colleagues from GRA. Thank you very much for also supporting to put this program together. So let me begin by saying that tax is an important component in every national development because it's through taxation that we generate the revenue for national development. So at GRA, we say taxation. Hello? This sounds better. Thank you. So we say at GRA, taxation is the blood of the nation. Without taxation, we will not be able to develop this nation.
So the fact that you have all made it this morning to join us tells a lot, and it shows about your commitment with our partnership with GRA in raising the revenue for national development, and we do not take it for granted. So on behalf of GRA, I warmly welcome all of you to this morning's engagement, where we will be discussing Itas, the Integrated Tax Administration System, a platform which we are rolling out in a way that will revolutionize and change the domestic tax administration in Ghana. And as I look around this room for a moment, there's also the point about the fair portrait of the Ghanaian economy itself here. So I see AGI members present. I see freight forwarders present. I see customs house agents and ship owners present. I see colleagues from mining industry present, communication, pharmaceutical, and all other sectors of this economy. So if you look at this room, I would say the whole Ghana is here. That Ghana that makes the economy work. So when we look at the people in this room, and we know that you do well in your businesses, we believe at GRA that Ghana will do well as well. And this is simply how our economy works. Through the daily acts and actions of businesses and people like you, the nation moves forward. And when you move forward, GRA moves forward in our mandate of raising revenue and at the same time ensuring that the nation develops. Before I say anything about the Itas, let me again bring a perspective to what I want to discuss this morning. For many of you, you know that I spent a greater time of my life working on the side of the private sector and building relationship and advising businesses and ensuring that businesses can pay and honor their tax obligations efficiently. But today, I sit with you again, but on the other side of the table, ensuring that the things that we've spoken about many years, I have the opportunity together with my team to implement them and to ensure that we make your businesses run, as far as taxation is concerned, easier, simpler, and fairer. So if you look at it from that perspective, we are doing the same thing from different perspectives. And therefore, I say that we are on the same boat, but maybe we are seated at different ends of the boat. But together, we will do what is necessary and achieve the objectives we have for ourselves in nation building. So as I stand here before you, I stand in the spirit in which we are having an engagement to ensure how the Itas will work for us. And also I stand in the spirit, letting us all know that the authority is changing the way we administer tax in this country. And a change that is not just for the authority, a change that is important for all of us in the business community. This is a strong claim to make, but I believe that this is a claim that we have to make together so we can achieve what is ahead of us. So this morning we have invited you, and the reason is we're talking about Integrated Tax Administration System, the platform through which GRA is rebuilding the domestic tax administration. And let me just emphasize, when I use the word domestic, it doesn't only relate to the internal aspect of taxation. It's connected with both customs and what we do internally. Itas was launched on 1st April of this year, and we've begun the limited go-live experience for our taxpayers in the Kaneshie and Accra West area. What we are doing this morning is to let all of us know that we are extending the reach of Itas to other taxpayers in Accra. And it's so important that we have this conversation, especially with you, our business partners, with you, our business leaders, so that together we can understand the change, we can embrace it, and most importantly, for us to get the opportunity to have your feedback, so that as we roll out this program, we can build it into it. We can ensure that your voice that matters becomes an important pillar in the entire conversation of the Itas rollout. I'm sure some of you will be asking, what will Itas do for us as a business? And this is so important because the Itas is for you, the Itas is for us. So together, we must know what it works for us. Itas, as the word implies, integrated, is a platform that is going to ensure that for you as businesses, you have one point of engagement with GRA. This is what we mean integrated. So Itas is going to integrate with other systems of GRA to ensure that particularly the taxes that we pay, PAYE, VAT, CIT, and all the other taxes are in one place, and that affords us the opportunity as businesses to be efficient in how you deal with GRA. The second most important aspect of Itas is that all aspects of the taxpayer's relationship with GRA will be found in one place at the full maturity of Itas. So for instance, it's not only filing and payment, but when it comes to tax audit and review, it's also going to be integrated into Itas. So the business person or the taxpayer knows the full essence of their relationship with GRA on one platform. And for those of you who actually employ tax consultant to support you in fulfilling your tax obligation, Itas is going to create a platform to have the relationship with your taxpayers, with your tax consultants. So on the Itas platform, there will be a list of tax consultants that you can select from to support you honor your tax obligations. You can make the decision to select, and you can make the decision to deselect if you are not happy with your tax consultant. You can make the decision of which of your tax processes you will assign to your tax consultant to do and which you will not. So this way, we believe that it supports the taxpayers in ensuring there's efficiency in your relationship with tax consultant. The third is integration and use of data. So today, for most of you, when you engage with GRA, particularly if you are an importer, you realize that we have to pull information from different systems, particularly ICOMs, and bring it into our engagement with you when we have to validate something from you. Itas is going to integrate with ICOMs. So the data that you originally will put in ICOMs will flow seamlessly into Itas, so that when we're engaging you, we cut out the time and the effort of asking you to reproduce the same information that you have already declared through our customs data. And this, we believe, creates the efficiency, it saves costs, and to allow businesses to be able to focus on the essential things that matter. Finally, not finally, but the last one that I'll mention here is in the area of tax debt management. That sometimes there are disputes and differences in terms of balances and accounts that have been paid. With the full maturity of Itas, is going to be a thing of the past. Our debt management system is going to be an integral part of the platform. So whatever the taxpayer has paid relative to what they have filed in relation to any period, all that will be seamless on Itas. So that points about disputes, points about reconciliation, spending tons of time to look at these matters are going to be a thing of the past. These and many more are some of the benefits that Itas is going to bring to us. But also importantly, the introduction of Itas is not going to lead to the payment of any additional new taxes. This is an efficiency process system that we are introducing. So I want to assure each and every one of you that the introduction of Itas is not coming with any hidden taxes. So don't be afraid to embrace it. And don't say that once I embrace Itas, it means that government is going to ask me to pay more. Itas is not bringing in any new taxes or any new costs. Rather, it's going to help us to be efficient, save costs, help us to be more connected with our GRE offices, and ensure that we can deliver or we can fulfill our tax obligations in a more seamless manner. Again, I'm also conscious that business associations are not the same. Some of your members run sophisticated finance functions and will take to a digital platform without a second thought. Others are much smaller, traders, family enterprises, and the member who has always done this with certainty will look at the word digital and may feel that what is GRA bringing to us? To all of you and through you, we want to give the commitment and assurance. No business will be left behind by the move and the migration into Itas. We are building the support together. We'll provide the guidance, we'll provide assistance around the transition in a precise manner so that each and every business will understand according to their scale and point of need. That way, we'll carry each other together on the journey to make Itas work for us. Let me also place Itas in the wider context briefly. GRA has committed itself openly to a transformation agenda that is built on 6 key pillars. And the first is our people and culture. We are building a culture that is more service-oriented, that is seeing our taxpayers as partnership, that is seeing our business community as partnership in nation building. Second is our focus on revenue mobilization. Third is technology and innovation. And Itas is one of key visible examples of our technological initiatives that we are taking. And the fourth is operational excellence. And the last is stakeholder trust and public confidence. Itas, as I've already said, is one of the single piece of our technology and innovation infrastructure under these 6 pillars. So these pillars are directed at one stated objective, ultimately, to raise revenue for national development. In 2024, GRA, we recorded 153 billion. That is 15 years of existence. We recorded 153 billion in 2024. Our aspiration is that by 2028, we should double what we've done in 15 years and raise 310 at a minimum for national development. So something that it has taken 15 years to do, we are aspiring to do it in 4 years. And we hope that after that, we can even make the time shorter. This is not something that it's GRA going to do alone. If we can achieve this aspiration, then it's going to rest on all of you, your shoulders. And that shoulder means that your businesses must do well. And it's only when your businesses do well and flourish, then GRA can take part in this flourish business and give it back to the state. So when we say we aspire to make 310 billion Ghana cedis in 2028, we know that it is you who are going to make us do that. And we thank you for your commitment so far. In 2026, we did 182 billion. In 2025, we recorded 182 billion. In 2026, we are moving to 225 billion. We know that you are going to be with us. We know that you are going to support us to make this journey. But in making this journey, we also believe and support you as partners so that your businesses can thrive and flourish. Let me also add that public trust in a tax system is not built by speeches and just words. It is built when businesses are treated fairly, consistently. It is when businesses' perspective are taken into tax administration. It is for this matter that, again, we call on you to partner with us because we believe your voice matters. Your voice matters because the tax administration has to be fair. Your voice matters because the tax administration has to be simple. Your voice matters because tax administration has to be efficient. And we cannot do this alone. We can only do this by relying on you. So, In this sense, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring my comment this morning to a close. We have built the Itas system. We have done the limited pilot, and we know it is working. We are confident that it will work, but we need all of you, your hands and your brains to support us to make it work. But whether this transition succeeds or merely happens depends on something that the authority cannot simply, from its side, do it alone. We need your trust. We need a partnership of the businesses community. We need you to tell us where the systems work, and we need you to tell us, frankly, when it is not working. We need you to challenge us when it has gone wrong, and we need you to confirm to us when we have done it right. We need you to carry an honest account of what you see from this morning, especially those who will be rolling on in the coming weeks, to ensure that together we can make the Itas work for us. If we get it right, the price is worth the effort. A tax system that costs each and every business less time, less money to comply, and that ensures that there's consistency, there's fairness, and there's good return for all. This is a system that we believe is worth building together. And this is a system that we believe that it is worth embracing as businesses and as taxpayers, so that together we can focus on building businesses, creating employment, and ultimately contributing to national development. It is the reason why we have asked you to join us this morning. And I believe, and genuinely on behalf of GRE, we are grateful for you joining us, and we look forward that each and every business will join us on the journey of transitioning to Itas, so that together we can build the businesses we want, we can build the Ghana we want, and we can say that in that process, we are also building a tax administration that works for us all. Thank you for coming, and I look forward to further engagement this morning and the weeks ahead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Commissioner General. The compliant people are applauding. The non-compliant people at the back are not applauding. Thank you. As a young man, I remember that when I registered my first business in 2014, we went to Registrar's General Office to register, and we were to go to GRE to register. And even before we had decided on what our office would be, our first laptop or anything, the officer there was saying, we have to calculate some tax for you to pay. I was like, but the business has not started any job. Why are you projecting tax for me to pay, even though I don't even have capital? So for a very long time, I didn't like GRE. For a very long time, I didn't like GRE. Then I went into agribusiness and I needed the support of the state. Then I appreciated that people have to pay the tax for the state to also get revenue, to build the roads, extend the electricity, and give you support. Then I like GRE small. Then along the lines, the tax administration, it changes. Withholding tax, this, then sometimes we get confused. We don't even know how to file our taxes. But it is said that the tax collector and hospitality, they always move in opposite directions. That's why Zacchaeus was on a tree and Jesus commanded him to come down. But this tax commissioner has brought us to a very hospitable place and has humbly come to us to share his thoughts and to give us assurances that we are working together. And he used three expressions: that the tax administration system must be fair, it must be simple, and efficient. And I think this is important, and he deserves a round of applause for that. Back at KNUST, there was a place called the Royal Parade Grounds. And it had a lot of trees, and that was where we used to walk. We would walk through the Royal Parade Grounds to the faculty area for lectures. Then one day somebody decided that because the place was not paved, we needed to do pavement. And then they redirected the pavement from where the trees are for the shade into a different area. So even though they had a nice pavement, we were not using the pavement. We were still walking through the Royal Parade grounds, whether it had rained and it was muddy or not, we would walk through because we got shade and it was a shortcut. So one of our lecturers in one of our lectures on efficiency said that when you are developing a solution for an ecosystem, you must understand the needs of the ecosystem. There are efficiency requirements and you design it as such. So later, they had to go and develop the routes through the Royal Parade grounds because they realized that people wanted the shade and they wanted an efficient system. And from all I've heard about the Itas system, GRA wants to create a solution with industry so that it works for all of us, so that we grow together. So this morning, we have notepads in front of us with pens and pencils. Write all your thoughts, all your questions, because we want to have them answered here. If you have any suggestions as well, we want to have them here so that when we leave in 2028, you can sit somewhere and say, I was part of the revolution that helped us get to the 310 billion Ghana cedi revenue target. Commissioner, I said 310 billion, right? When we leave here, I'll give you 5 cedis into Matiswa and 309 billion point something 5. Matil target this one now. So please write your notes, put your thoughts together so that together we can get this done. Before I invite Joseph to give us a detailed overview of the Itas system, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Vice President of ACAG, Henrietta Opong. If you are here, please give us a wave. Sorry if I didn't get this. ACAG, right? Or ACHAG? Okay, what's the full meaning? Association of Customer House Agents Ghana. Customs House Agents Ghana. Thank you so much, madam, for coming. We have the second National Vice President for the Ghana Hotel Association, Mr. Benjamin Afunya. Please give us a wave, Mr. Afunya, if you are here. Ghana Hotel Association. We also have Sami Amegayibo, the Executive Director for the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. Sami Amegayibo. Yes. Mr. Commissioner, those people, we have to charge them more taxes. They have money for the real estate developers. We have the CEO for MAP H Limited, Mr. Mark Kwekuhoto. Please give us a wave. He's at the back. Thank you. We have Mr. Bernard Bimpong. He's the MD for J Mollab Ghana. Mr. Bimpong, if you are here, thank you so much for coming as well. David Amwating is the president for TAG. Mr. David Amwating, if you are here, TAG, thank you so much. I've also seen my friend and sister, Dela Amanda Akuvi Gajepo, an executive of FABAG. Dela, please give us a wave as well. Thank you all so much for leaving your schedules to be here this morning. It shows that you take Ghana seriously and you take revenue also seriously. At this point, Seth, I've sent you a video on WhatsApp. Have you seen it? Yes, I've sent you the official YouTube stream of this event. Please put it in the AGI page so that members who are not here can see what is happening. And they can send you questions and you give it to me and I'll ask the questions for them, okay? Amanda, I'll also send you the link so that you give it to the FABAG members. All the executives here, please share. Go to the GRA YouTube link. You can share the link in your pages so that your members can also catch up with what we are doing here this morning. I'd like you to help me invite Mr. Joseph Menu. He's going to give us an overview of the Itas system and explain how it works to all of us. After that, we will have a panel discussion with the CG and other officials from the GRA to answer more questions on the Itas system. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the man, Joseph Menu.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to go straight to Itas and how we intend Itas to help us transform the taxpayer experience. So when we talk about Itas, we want you to think of Itas as a taxpayer experience project, improving taxpayers' compliance process, the taxpayer compliance experience process. Okay, so as Sigi said already, ITAS stands for the Integrated Tax Administration System. We look at it from a business definition as a taxpayer experience transformation through a unified digital ecosystem. So when we embarked on ITAS, we wanted it to be taxpayer-centric. So we didn't want to look at it from our perspective. We wanted to think about it. How can the new system that we are developing transform the taxpayer's experience? So everything we are looking at with respect to ITAS should come from how we improve the taxpayer's compliance experience. So I wouldn't even go into the technical details, the portals, the 360-degree view, automation, and then interoperability. These are all technical enablers to help us transform the taxpayer's experience. So by definition, we'd say it's a comprehensive end-to-end digital platform designed to modernize tax collection, enhance taxpayer experience, and create a single source of truth for all tax affairs in Ghana. So the case for change. Why do we need ITAS, and then why is it so important and transformative? One, fragmented systems. So inconsistent taxpayer view. Digital request and physical follow-up. So for example, I'll give you an example. We all have friends, although we are tax officers, we all have friends in businesses. Sometimes you meet a taxpayer at GRA head office. You say, oh, my brother, what are you doing here? Oh, I've submitted my request for waiver, and then I'm coming to follow up. So there's the problem of digital request and then physical follow-up. And I say, so why are all these documents? And say, oh, so I'm bringing the physical documentation. So these are some of the pain points we have identified with taxpayers. So we have a taxpayers portal. There are digital requests, but then it requires physical follow-up. Limited account visibility. So we have employees, employers, withholders, withholding agents. They are withheld. Meanwhile, posting into the account, the taxpayers do not see them. We have issues where a taxpayer has been compliant for all his life. One day he gets a government appointment or he needs a tax clearance certificate to go to the embassy. He goes on the taxpayers portal and then he sees no credit. He says, you haven't paid any taxes. Meanwhile, his company has deducted salaries for years and years and years. So there's that limited account visibility. So it leads to taxpayer cannot see their full picture. ITAS will actually introduce account transparency. Then the data quality gaps. So in relation to lack of posting, complete and accurate and updated information also leads to causes avoidable disputes and then frictions in audits between the tax authority and then taxpayers. With ITAS, we are going to look at data-driven and risk-based compliance. All right, so taxpayer journey under ITAS, from the taxpayer experience perspective, we are looking at a seamless digital thread supported by our integrated systems. So from activation to activating your account on the ITAS system to updating your information, to updating your information, to filing your returns, to payment, to tracking your communication with us, and then also to work with us on audit, objections, disputes, refunds. This is the vision we intend to see. And then along the way, you see various integrations with ICAMS, ORC, SNIT, Ghana.gov, the central bank, analytics, and then tracking. So what changes for your business? So for under registration, records may be incomplete or outdated. Under Itas, you require account activation, profile updates. Account activation and profile updates become core entry points. Return filing may require correction. So currently, for complex returns, for returns that require a lot of schedules with a lot of data, you submit and then 2 weeks later, a week later, sometimes months, GRA will contact you that there were problems with your schedule. With Itas, right there and there, we will point out to you the issues for you to correct it and then submit, so you know your compliance status right there and there. Payments and credits also, I spoke about it. You are withheld, the withholding makes payments, those allocations are not reflected in your tax ledger. With Itas, those problems will go away. Status currently depends on calls, visits, and then follow-ups. With Itas, you get notifications, you get tracking number, and then you can go on our services to actually see the processes from your applications, the status of every milestone. GRA will send you notifications. And then compliance, there will be transparency in selection of audit. So when you are selected for audit, when you are consistently selected for audits, you would clearly see, will clearly communicate to you the reason why you were selected for audit, if it was based on your compliance history, inconsistent data, or intelligence that we've received from the field. We actually give you information on why you were actually selected for audit. Now, sector-specific impact. So impact will differ by sector, but readiness requirements will be universal. So for trade logistics, within the trade logistics ecosystem, the primary value we are seeing is alignment of tax records, trade transactions, and then government data. So the critical action we will need from you and your members is to verify your 10 representative roles and then your filing disciplines. For domestic tax business sectors, the primary value is clearer taxpayer account, structured filing, and payment visibility. We are looking at critical updates of profiles. Your critical actions will be critical profiles, branches, beneficiary ownership data, and then compliance calendars. For the various associations and the media, the primary value we need you to provide us with is stronger communication channels between GRA and then the taxpayers. So you cascading official guidance, collecting FAQs, and then logging sector-specific issues, and then providing that feedback to GRA to help actually curb misinformation and disinformation also as we roll out Itas. So the transition is a journey, and not a cutover. So we are moving through 4 deliberate stages to ensure stability. So the first stage is to sensitize. This is what we are currently doing here, and then we'll continue doing it. So awareness and understanding of Itas benefits, readiness planning for your businesses, and then stakeholder engagement sessions. Then the second stage will be onboarding and then validation. So account activation on the new portal, profile updates and then verification, and then data cleansing and then consolidation. So as the Commissioner General noted earlier, we've piloted incarnation, and then some of the feedback we received and some of the things we've noticed is that taxpayer information are not up to date. So as part of the onboarding process, there are one-time passwords sent to owners of the account or registrants. We've noticed that some of the employees have actually, they use their phones, their personal phones to register, and then they've left the company. So the OTPs go there, and then you call the taxpayer comes, oh, I don't even want that employee to have anything to do with us. But meanwhile, their personal information is actually what is on GRA's file. So it will also, the adoption of Itas will also require taxpayers also updating their internal processes also. And adoption, that will be with regards to filing and then payment and then complying on the platform, transitioning from our old system to Itas, and then the active use of our digital services. And then the stabilization is where we partner mostly. Dedicated support and issue resolution, system optimization and performance tuning, and then full operational stability. Dedicated support and issue resolution is a two-way stream. Will require your feedback, because we have been working on Itas for the past 9 months. Our own biases have set in. So we need you to be brutal with your feedback. Give us the feedback through all channels. We will take it and then improve upon the system, because Itas is for the taxpayer. It's taxpayer experience transformation. So we want your compliance journey to be as smooth as possible. So our 5-step action plan is updating of taxpayer profile, defining user roles, aligning the new Itas reality with your own internal circles. Do not actually register tax GRA's accounts with personal details of employees, personal phone numbers. When they leave, you have a challenge. Training your team, so sensitize your teams, your management and your staff on the new digital workflows and then interfaces, and then engage associations. So stay connected with your sector bodies to cascade information and then report transaction issues. So Itas is a shared journey. Your readiness ensures a seamless transition for the entire business community. We will provide you with official materials, support mechanisms, and also continuous engagement. So 3 messages to take away, 3 commitments that every stakeholder here today should live with is simplification. Itas is about your experience. Simplification. Itas is to connect registration, filing, payment, accounting, refunds, compliance, and support on one consistent digital experience. And then readiness for Itas, clean taxpayer records, activated accounts with the right information, trained users, and updated internal routines will help reduce disruption during the transition. So when we invite your members, your employees for training, please let them come. We'll be working with you on various webinars. You join almost every webinar, so we'll be engaging your people. When they are informed, when they are trained, when they have all the information, the transition will actually be much smoother, and then your compliance costs will also reduce. And then partnerships. Associations should cascade official guidelines, collect sector-specific issues, and then help GRA support members before and then after we actually go live. We are live yet, and then we are rolling out in phases. So once we reach out to you, support with us, work with us from now on, and then after we've also enrolled you on, give us feedback, support us so that we'll make the system better. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Joe.
Thank you very much. My namesake's Joseph. Joe, please come this way. Come this way.
I like jumping.
Yeah, I know, but I know you are ready. But let's make it simple here. Thank you. Please, another round of applause for Joseph. I hope the presentation was clear and we are all aligned with what GRA wants to do. Do we have a good sense of what GRA is trying to do with Itas? Okay, so we are going to have a panel session. We are bringing the chairs here. As we set up for the panel session, I'd like to engage a few of you. Joseph Paddy, Guta, my friend Joseph Paddy from Guta, please, where are you? Mr. Paddy, how are you? I remember we engaged when the Publican AI system was launched. Guta was not happy at all because he said we were not engaged. Itas, are you being engaged, right?
We've been engaged, continued engagement. Yeah, so we think so far. So what we've heard from the CJ, so far so good. But we want to hear what is in the pudding, the eating. So we hope something good is going to come out of it. We hope that Itas will not come with these network issues. These are some of the challenges we used to have.
Okay, so he's highlighted one issue we'll discuss, and Commissioner says we are looking at about 250 billion in revenues. Looking at how business is going for your members, is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible. If the compliance level goes up, but most of the challenge we have as a country is our rate. Our tax rate is some of the challenges. So the battle is between tax rate and compliance. So if they can look around those areas too, it's going to help too.
You are speaking like somebody who wants to be given a T-shirt to be an Itas ambassador. Are you ready for that?
Oh, so far, yeah. Once it's for the betterment of the country, we are for it. Anything that is for the country, we are for it. So you have to look at the business sector and look at the revenue aspect too. So it goes hand in hand. You know, as much as we want to facilitate our business, we also look at revenue mobilization. But most times, we look at the revenue mobilization more than the business facilitation. So it must go hand in hand together.
Okay, good idea. By 5:30 p.m., they may be in the news. So I needed to ensure that we are all aligned right here. Earlier, I should have brought in the AGI CEO to give us some comments. I'll bring him up later to give us some comments. But at this point, I just think it's fair. We've heard from Guta. So let me bring my very good friend and big brother, Seth. And Seth, forgive me, you're on the program way earlier, but I made a mistake of not bringing you up. So please help me invite my friend and brother, Seth Chumakwabwa, Chief Executive Officer of AGI, to give us some brief remarks. And after that, we'll have the panel session.
Thank you, Kojo. And I want to report that I've done your assignment. I've already sent the link, and it's been circulated. So I'm sure people are watching and listening. Commissioner General, thank you for inviting us. And I also acknowledge the deputy commissioners and other officials from the GRA. And I've seen a very good friend, Mr. Noah, here. Leaders of the business community that is here, the associations. On behalf of the Association of Ghana Industries and the entire business community, we are pleased to be part of this important milestone. While we commend the Ministry of Finance and GRA for the recent reforms, the vast structure, this is equally another positive intervention for businesses. We have long advocated, and indeed we welcome tax administration that is simpler, faster, and more transparent. The rollout of the Itas is a direct response to these calls, and we commend the Ghana Revenue Authority and the government for this achievement. For our members, I must say compliance has been hampered not by unwillingness to pay tax, but by administration friction, cumbersome processes, multiple touch points, and lack of real-time information. And I do, after listening to the presentation and the statement by the Commissioner General, I acknowledge that Itas promises to change that. A system that allows businesses to register, file, and pay taxes seamlessly is a system that encourages compliance. We also see Itas as a foundation for trust between the private sector and the tax authority. This is always an issue. Trust issues when it comes to tax payments is always one that we have to deal with. And if you have a transparent system, which is digital, that is fair, that is tracking records, that is enabling payers to track their own payments, it reduces disputes and builds confidence, and therefore it is transparent. I do recall when the Publican AI system was introduced, there were agitations and reservations from sections of the business community. For AGI, we welcomed it. We welcomed it not because we wanted to pay more taxes. We know there were issues with the valuations, but we welcomed it because we thought the intent was good. And the intent was to make tax payment and tax administration more efficient. So we welcomed it, and we even issued a statement to that effect. But we caution, though, that the challenge we had was the speed with which we respond to queries raised. And we had engagement with the GRA, and the Commissioner General himself was there, and he promised that when there are issues raised, within 48 hours, they will resolve it. And since then, I think we've seen significant improvement. So when a system is introduced, we don't resist for resisting sake. We resist sometimes because we have challenges in dealing with the system. And I'm happy that they responded quite promptly and are working on it. And I believe that the Itas that is being introduced, being a computer-based system, we are going to encounter similar situations. For a lot of our members who are SMEs, who may not be that computer inclined or digitally inclined, there are likely to be challenges. And we must be ready to deal with it as it comes up. If we deal with it and there is efficiency, why not? We welcome it and we'll support you all through and through. And there's absolutely no doubt that for every system you introduce, there are always initial challenges. But let's appreciate those challenges and then work towards it. For us, on our side, efficiency, transparency is key in all these arrangements. So we welcome the introduction and we will support you to implement it. When I was hearing those big numbers and the targets that the GRA commissioner was talking about, I got excited. On one hand, it's supposed to bring more revenue to Ghana for development. But I said, this is good, but on one condition. On condition that it's not as a result of increase in tax rates, but it's more because there's efficiency in the collection and everybody's brought in the tax net so that the targets you have, you'll be able to achieve it without necessarily burdening those who are already paying the taxes. So once again, we are happy to have been invited here, and I believe the emphasis on education is key. The Commissioner General mentioned it, and today is part of such educational forum. There should be more of this. We have members in the regions as well. Let's organize to bring them all into the program. Let them appreciate the challenges that are likely to be associated. Let us deal with it, and then all together we'll embrace such a system. So once again, thank you very much for inviting us, and we are ready to support you.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa. I don't know if there is anybody in this room who has an influence on the national honors, but I've known Seth for about 15 years, and most of those times I've known him, he's worked with the AGI. It is important that people whose work have transformed industry and enabled the government, the populace, and industry to work together be recognized. And I think that this year's National Honors may be an Order of Star of Volta, industry development, is in order for Seth Chum Akwabwa. He served the country very well. And Mr. Commissioner, I don't know if you talk to the big man and you can put in a recommendation for all of us for Seth to be honored. We will be very happy. Please put your hands together for my friend and brother Seth Chum Akwabwa. We are going to have the panel session now. And this panel session, we have the man at the top. You've heard from him, but he's going to answer some questions from me and you as well. And so please, let's invite our first panelist, Commissioner General. Once again, I'd like to invite you to come up here. Mr. Anthony Kwesi Sapon. He will take the first seat to the extreme left. We have Deputy Commissioner Ops 1 and Project Owner, Mr. Robert Badegbe. He's also joining us. A round of applause for him as well. And we have Assistant Commissioner, Project Business Lead, Mrs. Emilia Assam. Please, let's bring her also to the seat. Thank you so much. Please, let's give Mrs. Assam more power. Thank you. So I will ask just a couple of questions here, and then I'll open the opportunity for members in the room to also ask the questions. And the first one I want to bring it to you, Commissioner. We've seen a lot of development. We've seen a lot of changes over the years. And like our friend from Guta said, he hopes it's not going to be a new system with the same old challenges. For industry and people listening to us right now, why should we see Itas as a step forward rather than just another system being introduced to worry all of us?
Thank you very much. Let me begin by just immediately responding to my friend said in terms of whether the aspiration will come from new taxes. I think policy perspective is come from cabinet and ministry, but we believe that as GRE, we are working to create efficiency in the current rates, not necessarily introducing new taxes, because we believe that if we're efficient and we deepen what we have, we can deliver on that mandate. And even more so, if we get everybody contributing their quota and a fair share, we can push together as industry to even ask government to come down on rates. So we are hoping to work with you to ensure that together we will deliver on the mandate, and together we can even ask for better rates. So we rest assured. And now back to the main, this is the main item. Let me attempt it. So as my colleague mentioned, the whole Itas idea is a improved taxpayer experience. And we say improved taxpayer experience because one, as GRE, one of the things we set ourselves is we want to be a human-centered tax administration. A tax administration that is providing service. A tax administration that is responding to the needs of our taxpayers. And a tax administration that sees taxpayers as customers. And therefore, forging a relationship that is long-term. So in that perspective, the introduction of Itas is really we asking ourselves, how do we become better in terms of our service delivery to taxpayers? And today, technology allows us to be able to, in part, respond to that call. So we are looking at this with all the zeal and commitment in us, that if we want our taxpayers to have a better experience than yesterday, and even more improved experience going into tomorrow, then really we will be committed to ensure that the Itas works. Because as technology is just an enabler to allow us to provide that experience. Number two, we also believe that businesses are there to make money so that out of it, they contribute some to government in taxation. So if we want to support business to achieve that, then we really have to support them with efficiency. We shouldn't have a system that businesses are spending long hours in dealing with GRE. We want to reduce the time cycle they deal with GRE so they can better focus on the productive side. Because when they do, we know that it's a win-win for us all. But to make this work, our key message and our key point is that we cannot do it alone. And that's why we need businesses to help us to embrace, to understand, and most importantly, also give us feedback. And when you do, we assure you that we will respond positively, deal with the issues, and together this is going to be success for us all.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Commissioner once again. About 2 or so months ago, we had a heated conversation on radio about publican AI. And forgive me if I'm bringing this into the conversation. In fact, I listed the stakeholders and their positions on publican. Guta opposed it. FAG, TAG, GIFF, they opposed it. Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry opposed it. AGI supported it. IEAG supported it. They supported and they reversed. I said they were supporting and reversing. Abosu Kai Spare Parts supported it. Swami Magazine, Kumasi Dealers opposed it. Ashanti Business Owners Association opposed it. And when I, as a journalist, engaged a lot of them, they said there were too many bottlenecks and they just didn't see how that made their businesses better. You have started these engagements with business. Can you assure business that you are committed to this business community on support? Because one of the things that came up was support. I remember somebody said that if you had a problem with, say, publican, you had to go to Ministry of Finance to get it resolved. So if you are in Paga, for example, you have to come all the way. And it's one of the big problems that industry has. What is your commitment on support to the business community, and what should they hold GRA accountable for with Itas?
Thank you very much. So let me go back to the scene that you said, and I relate it as a family meeting. So you know, GRA and the business associations, we can never sever the ties. So we are one family, and the voices that you heard is like a family meeting that some had strong voices, and that some were also mild voices. But we believe that as a family and as a partnership, we really had a voice. The request was we needed to understand. We needed more engagement so that we don't want a system that will come and frustrate our business, a system that really works. And precisely that is what we did. We worked together as a family and as a team. And today we have a running joint engagement and a forum that is working with all the associations, so that we can hear their frustrations, we can hear their challenges, and we can respond and deal with them. I think that is the best way in terms of engagement go. So for me, as far as Itas is concerned, we also learned a big way from the publican matter, and that is why we have begun this engagement. So we began with some tax consultant last week. We also engaged the media, and today we are engaging the leadership and some of the members of the business association. This is just the first beginning. Okay. The second one is that the business associations have large group of members, and they are diverse. So again, from this engagement, we'll be working with the individual separate associations so that we can engage them deeper at a level to each of their members. The third one is that we have been intentional, and we are rolling it out in phases so that each phase will give us opportunity to learn and improve it for the next phase. So the first phase, we started with our Kaneshi TSC Center, where we have rolled over 400 taxpayers.
Wow.
And that gave us some learning points. And the second phase, we are rolling out what we call the large taxpayers. So after the large taxpayers, it also gives us a sense of what we experience from small and medium businesses, what we experience from other large businesses. Then from there, we'll roll to the third phase, which is the rest of Accra. Then from Accra, we'll roll to the rest of the nation. We believe that the phase approach will give us opportunity to learn at each stage and improve the experience for our taxpayers. So let me rest assured that this is a journey we are committed to make it less frustrating for our taxpayers and give you the opportunity to embrace it, to work with it, but at the same time ensuring that we don't become disruptive to your business, but become an efficiency point in that regard.
So you are going through the whole value chain from top to bottom. You are not leaving anyone behind in the engagements?
Not at all. So let me also indicate that the engagement is not just, as I said, one. It's going to be multiple. And we are also taking the opportunity to also roll on with our own staff as officers, because they become the first focal point of engagement. So one of the engagement we are also doing is that at each tax location, which we call the tax service center, we have a team of champions that will address the needs of taxpayers anytime they have a challenge. And I think that this is one model we will from here be engaging with the business associations, that even within their secretariat of core businesses, also create champions that we can educate them deeper than all other members and who can be a front and support in terms of the Itas rollout.
Great, this is good to know. And Joseph Paddy from Guta says at Guta will be your champion.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome.
Yes, he has agreed. Now let me come to Mrs. Assam. Commissioner says that a lot of engagement is ongoing. He's actually mentioned the number 400 people have been onboarded, if that is what I heard correctly. Can you walk us through what is covered in the first phase of the rollout of Itas and which businesses are on the system now?
Thank you very much.
Please speak directly into the mic.
Please, from discussion so far, you've realized that GRA started this journey not too long ago, but we've been able to make a lot of leads. We started our pilots program early part of the year, and we started with Kaneshi TSC. We started with 400 taxpayers, and we started with 4 main tax types: VAT, PAYE, VAT withholding, and withholding. Experiences from the pilot, we realized that data is very much important. There's a need for cleansing. There's a need for updates. We also realized that there's a need for more engagement with taxpayers. Because information we have on the systems, some are not up to date. Some information might have been lost along the line. We have to engage taxpayers so that they give us information and updates. And the onboarding process, we had a few hitches because one, OTP sent out went to the wrong people. So we will encourage entities and businesses that now that you all know about the fact that we've started the process, if there's a need for some updates of your telephone numbers, please do that soon, so that when we will have to invite you, we will be getting the information to the right people. Looking at the process so far, with the tax types that we've selected, for example, VAT, it doesn't differ so much from the existing system. But this time, just as you know, we are insisting that anytime you are filing your returns, there's the need that you update information such as your receipt numbers, your VAT invoice numbers. And when it comes to withholding, we also insist that you update it with TIN and Ghana card details of individuals that you deal with, so as the PAYE of your staff. Most earlier on, you could file returns and there could be gaps. So what we are asking under Itas is that if you have not filed prior returns, you cannot go ahead and file current returns. So those who have been onboarded, we saw cases of people experiencing some challenges when they want to file. It's only because we have not filed earlier returns. So we will advise that as we progress, engage your tax officers and ensure that all returns are being filed. Now we have moved on to the LTO, where we have started onboarding them. And built in the Itas system is the need to assign user access. So if you are an entity and you deal with consultants and accountants who work for you, there's the need that in the system, built in the system, is a process where you can assign someone. And you cannot be a representative if GRA has not accepted you to be a representative. And before you can be a representative, there's the need that you also register as a taxpayer. Looking at what Itas is set out to do, we are leveraging on data. And there have been instances where we say that some people are not registered and doing business in Ghana. This time, we are ensuring that all information sits in the system. We are liaising with other agencies to have direct information like NIA for individual details, ORC for business details. So before you come to GRA, we would have had some information about you. And periodically, we will review data we have to ensure that the tax environment is fair. Many a times, we also talk about the fact that taxpayers, I am paying, another person is not paying, and is not paying the right taxes. Built in Itas is a data analytics where we get a lot of information that will help us to identify those who are not in the tax net. So we may not need to come back to you for additional taxes, but by widening the tax net, we believe that everyone will be rolling. Now, going forward, We have selected 200 taxpayers from each TSC to ensure that we start the process from there. And since we are doing phased method for rolling out this process, you might be in a particular TSC. Until we onboard you, you may not be on Itas. So we are running the two systems concurrently. Gitmis is running, Itas is running. And as we speak, because we've not rolled on all the taxes, even for those we piloted and initiated, you realize that when it comes to issue of TCC, we have to go back to Gitmis. And we have linked information from Itas to Gitmis, said that when you have to assess TCC, you will do it seamlessly. So for us, our major focus is that we need you to support the process. Update your information. When you have to file accurate information. And looking at the filing system, as I discussed earlier, now you don't need to come to our offices to tell us that you want to amend your return. Built in the system, you can always amend your return. Prior to the due date, you need not have approval from us for you to amend any return. But beyond that, you have to submit a request also online, not walking to our offices, where approval will be given. If no approval is given, you will be communicated to for you to know why approval is not given, for you to amend those returns. So you are partners. We expect that you engage us. In our TSCs, we have our client service department, whose main focus is to engage you and ensure that you do what is expected. If you have any challenges on the Itas process, we also have client managers that we have assigned to taxpayers. If you have any challenge, please, we have our numbers, our help desks, where you can access and you get the right information as to what to do. In cases where the challenges you are having are said that it is not over a table discussion from an officer, it will be escalated. It could be the system. Since we are working together, where there are hitches, please get in touch with us. We'll ensure that we resolve the problems. It's not a big bang. Said that there will be a lot of confusion. We are doing it gradually and engaging you and giving you the needed support. Where you have challenges, it is not that the system is not working well. There could be a challenge somewhere, and we are ready to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. She's downloaded a lot of information for us. Please, let's put our hands together for her. So, number one, you piloted with 400 businesses at the Kaneshie TSC, and now you are selecting 200 businesses at all the TSCs to onboard. Number two, and the LTOs as well. Number two, you notice that data integrity is one of the problems which you are working on. You also mentioned that the Itas will be running and the existing system will be running concurrently. So far you've rolled out the PAYE, the VAT, the withholding VAT, and the withholding tax on the Itas system. Two questions from me. When do we intend to fully roll out iTax? Number one. Number two, if I'm a business and I've not filed, and because of that, I cannot file, I have arrears, and because of that, I cannot file my new returns on Itas, would GRAC consider an amnesty program so that it encourages all of us to file as fast as possible to enable you to capture more data? I don't know whether this should go to Commissioner General or it should come to you. Ops one, you want to come in? Yes, sir.
With regard to the amnesty bit of it, the Itas is designed such that, for instance, if you are in the month of April and you have not filed for January, February, and March, the system will not allow you to file for those months. Will not allow you to file for April unless you go and file for January, February, and March before the system will allow you to file, yes, on Itas. So
you'd have to
in
use
terms
the whole
of
system to file.
So it depends. If the problem is coming from the system, such that you are unable to file, then I think there's no need to burden the taxpayer over any penalty issues. But if it is deliberate that the taxpayer did not file, then that one, the burden should be on the taxpayer. Okay. So if it comes to amnesty, that one I'll leave it to Commissioner General to say whether they will give the amnesty or not.
But I have a question which is not answered. When do we intend to fully roll out Itas? Do you have a timeline for that so that businesses will prepare appropriately?
Okay, from our perspective, we'll be running the system alongside with the current system, which we call GitMix, until December 2027, when we feel that all taxpayers are onboarded. Then we can do away with the old system, knowing very well that the Itas is fully running.
Great. Now, Deputy Commissioner, one of the challenges for businesses is certificates, refunds, reconciliations. We feel the pain when it comes to that. How does Itas handle withholding certificates, credits, refunds, reconciliations, and what improvements should we expect? How different is Itas from the existing system when it comes to those issues?
Yeah. The Itas system is built on the fact that we have some difficulties with the current system that we are running. So it is our expectation that when Itas comes on board, the current difficulties that the taxpayers are facing regarding withholding and the withholding VAT will be a thing of the past. What I can say is that in most cases, taxpayers don't provide accurate information. That is the reason being that they don't see the withholding taxes reflecting on the portal anytime they log in. So if a taxpayer has been surcharged or has suffered a withholding tax, the burden of payment is on a person who has withheld the tax. So if you don't provide the accurate information to the taxpayer who has withheld to make the payment, then you don't see that information reflecting on the portal. So we can only urge each and every taxpayer to provide as accurately as possible the information that will be required to enable the Itas to process their withholding tax or withholding VATs.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner, I'm withdrawing my question earlier about the amnesty. Because if we have till 2027 to fully roll out Itas, I believe that any business worth their salt should be able to work on their arrears and correct their compliance. I thought maybe we had just about 3 months to fully roll out Itas. So I'll withdraw it, but if you still want to answer it, you are at liberty to answer it. And whilst Commissioner is thinking of answering that, if you have any question, this is really about you. So if you have any question or any comment, you can raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you. When we come to you, mention your name and your institution, and you go ahead. So there are 2 hands up. I see one here, one here. If you have the microphone, good. Please rise your name, your company, and then go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is George Michael Abua. I'm the Deputy Editor for the Overseer. First and foremost, I would want to thank the Commissioner General for organizing the stakeholder engagement. And since he assumed office, he has been able to implement the National VAT Compliance Team, the invoices, the e-invoicing system too as well. My question is, are there any key performance indicators with regards to the Itas? Because from GRA, we know that we've not been able to achieve much when it comes to tax collection in our system. And the Revenue Generation Division always keep complaining that people are not willing to pay their taxes. So are there any form of key performance indicators that will be able to tell us that Itas has replaced JITMIS and it has been able to solve the problems of JITMIS? Thank you.
Mr. Editor, we'll pick one more question here, and then there's also a hand up at the back. So once we pick this question, we'll take responses, and then we'll come to the back. And Editor, so with your channel, or Monday morning, we are getting front page story, right? GRA engages businesses on Itas, promises 250 billion in revenues in 2025. Sir, please go ahead.
Yo, thank you very much. My name is Samuel Agre. Sorry for my voice. I have 2 questions. The first one has to do with individual tax payments. Now, a lot of us, we don't pay taxes. But if you're working within the formal sector, you pay your tax, some of the taxes through government institutions. But a lot of those people or individuals who are working on their own really find it very difficult to pay. Now, if I need to pay my taxes, every year I need to file as an individual. What education do you give so that at least I will know that I have to pay my taxes and the benefit that comes to me at the end of paying my taxes, so that at least I'll be rushing to pay my taxes because of those benefits, so that it will encourage everyone to pay the taxes that we're supposed to pay. Now, the second one has to do with the, we are saying integration. How do we integrate the systems with the, let me say, NHIL, the health insurance, the DVLA and other sectors, which falls under the government institutions? Because these are areas that can capture the individual to make sure that we are paying the right taxes that we have to pay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we'll take answers from here and then we'll go here. So there was a hand up at the back. Any other hands on this side, so that once we come here, we'll take the questions and the comments from here. Okay, please, who goes first? Mrs. Asami, go first, or Commissioner?
All right. So let me start and my colleagues will join. So the first one was on the point about whether there are key performance indicators. I would say Itas is a system that actually will hold both GRA officials and the taxpayer accountable. So within Itas, there are timelines for completing activities, both for the taxpayer and also for the tax official. So for instance, if a taxpayer make a request to GRA, it will show the timeline that GRA must respond to the taxpayer. And if we are not responding, Itas will continue to give the feedback to the taxpayer that the activity has elapsed its completion timeline. So those at the operational level are something that will keep both GRA and the taxpayer accountable. Similarly, if the taxpayer has to file a return and the taxpayer hasn't filed it, Itas will show in the activity of the taxpayer that you have these outstandings to make to GRA. So it's a two-way accountability measure. But ultimately, the real performance indicator, as we've already indicated, is some of the bottlenecks we face today in our systems and how with Itas they should be resolved. We believe that at the full maturity of Itas and working together with you, those will be resolved, and eventually we shall all be happy working with Itas. The second one is the question about the integration. So Itas, as the name connotes, is going to integrate not just with other systems in GRA, it's also going to integrate with other government institutions that holds data on businesses and individuals, so that if we don't find you in the tax net, we'll find you in the other government institutions. So the first three institutions Itas is integrating is one, Registrar of Companies and Registrar General's Department. So when you register a sole proprietor business or partnership with Registrar General's Department, you will automatically be in Itas. When you register a company with Registrar of Companies, you will also automatically be in Itas. Second is SNIT. As you register with SNIT and pay pension, I keep on saying pension is important, automatically we'll find you in Itas and say contribute towards the development of the country today. And the third institution is National Identification Authority, which is crucial for individuals. From these three, we'll move on to the other agencies, DVLA. So if you are registering your vehicle, we will see that you are registering a vehicle worth $20,000 or 300,000 Ghana cedis, and Itas will ask, is this person paying tax? If not, GRA will just approach you and say, pay a little bit of your income towards tax. We'll deal with passport authority. So if you register and you do business and you travel across, it also gives us the information. So in all, there are about 15 government institutions that have been earmarked to integrate with Itas. So that integration is beginning from July this year. By December, all these institutions will be integrated with Itas. So that's a seamless and a 360 view of the taxpayer from the national point of view. And if I may just add on to the individual taxation, which sometimes we refer to as at informal sector. So most of the time we say the informal sector contributes about 30% of our GDP, but its contribution to tax is very, very low. So we have actually, November 2025, launched what we call the modified taxation. One of the challenges we found for informal sector is that if there's a complex return for the individual, the artisan, the the barber, or the salon lady, they will not follow the return. So we said we have to make tax payment and return simple. Number two, they will not leave their place of work and look at the nicety of GRA and move to our offices. So GRA has to meet them at the point of their work. And then number three, make the tax payment a bit simpler and easier to make. So the modified taxation is a scheme where we said if an individual or a sole proprietor business is earning an income not more than 500,000, then we classify you to be in that informality. So with that, we are saying, don't fill a complex form. All we need for you to pay 3% of the income you make. So I give this hypothetical example. If a sole proprietor or an individual is earning, let's say, 200,000 Ghana cedis, then we are saying pay 3% of that, which is 6,000 the whole year. So simple calculation of
this is on income, not revenue.
On the income. So relate 200,000 for 6,000. It's very, very affordable. I think it's affordable. I hope you will believe with me that if you earn 200,000 and the whole tax you are paying is 6,000, it's very, very affordable. We are also deploying it on an app so that when you download what we call our MTS app, it only asks for 4 questions. And the 4 questions is 1, your name. 2, your Ghana card number. Then the third question, it will ask you, the individual or taxpayer, how much do you think you will make in a year? So if you say 200,000, then the app will say your tax is 3%, is 6,000. Then the next question is, do you want to pay it monthly, quarterly, yearly? And that's simple. So we are working with various agencies who are connected with various informal sector groups, like the Creative Arts. We are working with an agency there. Small businesses and industries, Ghana Enterprises Agency, Maslock and all that, we have an agency working with them. Then we have an agency working with market groups and market women. Eventually, we'll move on to the digital logistics like Uber and Co. who are on platform, and our Uber, for example, where we have most artisans recording. The message is simple. All of us must contribute. Contribute a fair quota. Even if you are earning 1 cedi, pay the 3%. And if you are earning more than the 500, pay the due tax so that together we can all support national development.
Thank you. Madam, you want to add something to it?
Let me add a few words to
Please speak into the microphone.
the benefits that we get as individuals when you pay taxes. First, whenever you pay taxes, you have the right to demand our government to provide the services that we need. You realize that when we pay taxes, that's what is used for the roads, that is what is for the free education, that is what is used to pay most of us and to provide security for the state. These are all benefits we enjoy, but we take for granted. Again, built in the tax system we have reliefs for individuals who pay taxes. If you are not registered with GRA, and you're expected to pay your taxes, you're supposed to pay all. But if you are registered, you can have release for your old age parents, for education, for your children, for your marriage. Please take advantage of all that. Walk to our offices and ask for reliefs. Do that for your staff as well. Beginning of the year, beginning of the year, we all have the right to apply for these reliefs. and will benefit. Then again, whenever you want to contract or engage in business with an entity, you are always asked for your tax clearance. It is only when you pay taxes that you can have a tax clearance. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a hand at the back.
Commissioner General, you are here. I think Mr. Danoy too is here as well. Madam Emilia alluded to the reliefs, but these reliefs are woefully inadequate. So if you can urge the minister to take a look at the reliefs, and that will be something that will encourage taxpayers to come forward knowing very well that these reliefs are worth filing for. But as we speak now, the reliefs are somehow not enticing. So, Uncle Danoy, I think you are around. So you are the ear of the Minister of Finance. So let him know that we need to take a look at the reliefs that are granted to taxpayers.
Okay. We have 2 hands up here. I'll take those 2 questions, and then we'll wrap up with the lady at the back for this. Samson, you also have a... Okay. So what we are going to do is I'll take all 4 questions, and then we'll get the answers so that we can wrap up in time for you to go back and work and pay more taxes. So, sir.
All right. So, good afternoon. My name is Nathan, and a tour guide. My question goes to Mr. Commissioner. You mentioned a figure that you were able to raise in 2024, and you intend to double that figure 2028. I want to find out how this is going to be achieved, because is it that you're going to increase taxes, or is it that you're going to, new taxes are coming? Is it that, are you going to increase taxes of those who are already paying, or you are going to expand the tax net so more people will be roped in to be able to pay taxes? Because in Ghana, we know that most often taxes are paid by a few, just a fraction of the working populace. And so I want to know how you are going to be able to achieve this. And then also the second question is to the Deputy Commissioner, who said, like for instance, the withholding tax are going to be a thing of the past if Itas come on full operation. I want to know how this is going to be achieved, because we know these are human institutions, and most often when these new software are introduced, there are a lot of challenges. You hear Mr. Wingobit and colleagues always complaining about some of these challenges that they face. How are you going to be able to, eliminate this by the next year that you are talking about? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan. I will take the next question. But Nathan, the commissioner said no new taxes are being introduced. They are going to work on tax efficiency. I took a note of that. But they will answer your question in detail for you later. Sir.
Thank you. My name is Kwame Jesse, Communications Director of GUTA and Chairman of Association of Accra Traders in Okaishi. Mr. Commissioner, you told us that you'll be going to bank and other sources to look at the way we do our business. That's fine. I have no problem with it. But after COVID, and when dollar was in 17.5, in fact, a lot of Ghanaian businesses lost a lot of money. Now we are depending on the Indians, Lebanese, and Chinese for our source of goods. So the first thing is that these people, you buy from them, you are not giving VAT invoice. We've said it over and over. Then again, these people will give me goods worth 500,000, but my profit is very small. But the person will give me about a month to sell and pay. All these monies will go to my bank. So when you go to my bank account, you see a lot of money, but they are not for me. They are for those people. We enjoy about between 5-6% of it. So if you go to bank and you see about 1 million cedis in my account, and you want to use the 1 million cedis to assess me, I think I need an explanation on that. Right. Then again, you've exempted some people from collecting and paying VAT. Gone are those days when those on table and hawking around were buying goods from our shops. Now they can go to Togo and bring their own goods. They can go to Nigeria and bring their own goods. Some even do consolidation in China, and so this time we have the same source that we all get our goods. Now you are saying that those people cannot pay VAT, but me in the shop have to pay VAT. So you see, this is going to be a big problem because we have the same source that we get our goods from Nigeria, Togo, Dubai, China. Definitely, some of us in the shop, our goods are going to go up. And you can imagine when I'm in a shop employing people, paying taxes, a whole lot, and my goods are more expensive than somebody who is walking on the table. Boss, I need clarification on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwame. Because of how heavy the questions are, we will take one more, get the answers, and we'll take Samson's question, and we'll take our lady's question, and then wrap up. Sir, your name and go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Koku Boateng from Traders Advocacy Group, Ghana. The first question I want the panels to look at is that in most cases, our network is considered as necessary evil. When you go to GRA portal and you want to file your returns, in most cases it takes more than an hour before you can do it. So the question is, this new Itas, does it have inbuilt mechanism that can help taxpayers to file their taxes without any difficulties? That's the first one. The second one is about the tax consultant we're talking about. Most tax consultants in Ghana don't want to be engaged by informal sector because of the small charges. Maybe the sector the fee that they want to pay is not as big as those at the corporate level. And when I was doing my little analysis, I realized that all the tax consultants supposed to be paid VAT 20%, and it is part of their charges inclusive. So when they go to the informal sector and become part of the fee that they are charging the people, they find it difficult to pay. And because of that, most people at the informal sector don't want to engage tax consultant. In this case, I want to know from the Commissioner General, what do you intend to do to ensure that most tax consultants can give their services at that level?
Thank you. You have one more?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much. So the questions, Nathan from the, Nathan is a tour guide. He said, how does GRA intend to increase revenue? More taxes or expansion? And he also asked about withholding taxes being made efficient. Now, Kwame from Guta spoke about one of the biggest existential problems for traders in Ghana at the moment, where now everybody can go to the source and bring goods. And there are people who don't even have shops. Their shops are on TikTok. You see them streaming every day and selling. These people are not paying taxes. Kwame and Co. are paying the taxes. Where is the fairness? And how do we bring all these other people in the bracket? So Kwame raised that. And he also mentioned that you could see 1 million cedis, but the margin is just about 5%. How are you going to ensure that they are not shortchanged? That's Kwame's question. And Tag wants to know how Itas will make tax filings efficient and how tax consultants can be engaged better to help everybody across the value chain. Right, Kwame? Okay, so those are the questions. So after this, Samson will come. We'll take the final question from the lady at the back and wrap up.
Thank you very much. So again, I will start and my colleagues will add on to it. So the first one, whether GRA intends to introduce new taxes or deepen the existing taxes. So let me be clear that when it comes to introduction of taxes, it is within the jurisdiction and domain of Ministry of Finance working with Parliament. So GRA does not impose taxes. So we administer. When Parliament has approved taxes, then we come in and administer. But we are working on this principle that so far, since last year with the government in place, the posture of government has been to repeal taxes as opposed to introducing new taxes. So GRA is working on the assumption that government may continue in this trajectory by not introducing new taxes. Therefore, if there are no new taxes and we want to achieve the targets that we set for ourselves for, let me say, for this year, it's 225 billion, not 250. And we ourselves, as GRA saying, we want to aspire for 310 for 2028. Then it means that we are working to deepen the existing tax rules that we already have in the laws, which means bringing more people into the tax nest, those who are not, and also ensuring that those who are in it, they are paying fairly and accurately, and also ensuring that we are implementing systems that makes it efficient and easier and simpler for taxpayers to honor their obligations. We believe that this is the trajectory we are on, to say that government may not introduce new taxes, and therefore aspirations will come from working with businesses to be efficient and deepen what we currently have in our books. Then the second area also covers the area of VAT reforms, as my friend from Guta has said. So in VAT, one of the key principles is that VAT compliance, which is the input-output deductibility, is always a complex situation for smaller businesses. So in most jurisdictions, we have what we call the threshold rule, that if your turnover is not above a certain line, then the law exempts you from the complexity of fulfilling or registering for VAT. In our new reforms, we have moved that threshold. It used to be 200,000 Ghana cedis. Beginning 1st January 2026, we have lifted that threshold to 750,000 Ghana cedis. That means if you are a business and your turnover is not above 750,000 Ghana cedis, the government says you don't have to register for VAT. It's on that basis. However, if the business believes that registering for VAT is advantageous to it, although the government says no, GRA will still register you. So the first rule is that if somebody believes that you are exempted, but they want to register for business advantage, GRA will not prevent you from that. Second important point is that those that are not registered, they cannot take advantage of the input deductibility. So if you are registered, any VAT you pay, you take it from the VAT you charge, and it's the net you give to government. The one who is not registered, any VAT they pay is a cost to them. So that brings that parity and fairness into the process. And finally, we believe that those who are below the threshold, eventually, with time, will also grow above the threshold and also enjoy. And one of the things we also intend to introduce before the end of this year is the online e-commerce business, as you spoke about. There are many people who are advertising and selling online. Payments are through digital channels, and they may not be registering, charging, or paying for VAT. In order to create a fairness for those who are selling on brick-and-mortar shops, we will be introducing a system that will also ensure that if you're operating online, you will also be caught up in the tax system and you pay the VAT. So that whether you choose to do e-commerce or you choose to stay in the traditional brick and mortar, the fairness principle is that you also pay your VAT and your due tax. That way, that will come. So give us patience. Before the end of the year, that system is coming. And again, bear with us. We appear to be introducing more systems, but the whole idea is to bring fairness and simplicity into the system. Then on the VAT aspect, I think one of the key challenges we have with the withholding tax is that today businesses will withhold a tax and will either not remit to GRA, or sometimes when they remit, will not fill the necessary data for the credit of the person on whose behalf the taxes have been withheld. So if you are a supplier and you supply goods or services to an entity, either they take the withholding tax, or when they pay, because they have not updated your data at the point of payment, when you, the supplier, goes to your account, you see that the payment has not been reflected. Under Itas, we are working with the withholding agent to make sure that at the point of payment, they are also adding the necessary detail of the supplier, so that that payment can be reflected seamlessly in that supplier's account without the hassle of always going to change and so on and so forth. And finally, on the issue about connectivity, certainly once we are going more digital and automation, that also become an enabler we need to do, and want to assure that as GRA, we are also putting the necessary investment in our data warehouses so that the capacity of data and processing will be efficient, and at the same time ensuring that we are investing in our connectivity channels, so that at the end of the day, if we want to say a better experience, we want to say efficient experience, it's not just the system and its usage, it's also about the enablers that will bring the total experience to taxpayers. I think you can speak on to the withholding a bit.
Yeah. Yes. With regards to the withholding, we should be expecting some difficulties. Why do I say that? Because it is not all taxpayers who are currently being onboarded onto the iTax. Some are still transacting on the old system, which is a git mix. So for instance, if a taxpayer suffers a withholding tax, and that taxpayer is not on iTax, it's on git mix, then the two systems will have to be talking to each other to move the information from the git mix into Itas. There could be some slight difficulties going forward, but with the full integration, when everybody is onboarded onto the Itas, that will not be a challenge anymore. And with the withholding, 1% withholding from the ports, which is also an advanced tax payment for corporate taxes, or not until ICAMS is integrated into Itas, that information will not reflect on the Itas portal. So we have to still be doing those ones manually by passing adjustments to upload the portal with those withholding payments. Every new system that is being introduced certainly will have some challenges. That is why these engagements are very needed, so that we know what problems you are encountering at your site, so that when you give us the feedback, that will help us to improve on the system. The problem with the withholding tax, as Commissioner General alluded to, is the fact that most of the times those who withhold don't make the payment to GRA. And those who maybe make the payments may make the payment based on wrong information that has been provided by these taxpayers. That will only be the reason why the information will not reflect on the portal. So we can only urge each and every taxpayer to ensure that whatever information they are giving to those who are withholding from them are accurately as possible, so that when the payment is made, they can see this information reflecting on the portal. Like Commissioner General said, GRA, we don't introduce taxes, but we have identified that there's a compliance gap. For instance, VAT alone is about 60% compliance gap. So if we are able to plug these gaps, there's no need to bring in any new taxes, but just to plug the holes where these revenues are leaking from. And that alone should be enough. If you are able to do the integration with all the other agencies, so we can also get third-party information from them to be able to assess taxpayers that are trying to dodge the system. So that should be enough to raise the revenues of the 310 billion that we are expecting come 2028. Yeah.
On the issue of the tax consultants, GRA is not accepting everyone as a tax consultant. It is only a person who is qualified as enshrined in the Revenue Administration Act. So if you want to be a tax consultant, you must qualify to be there. And again, since we are not accepting everyone, not everyone can also find himself as a tax consultant who will get the services of even some of the small taxpayers. However, I will advise that first register as a taxpayer, develop yourself to qualify as a consultant, and you will get the jobs, because it's not everyone that will engage. If your client even nominates you, our system cannot accept you. Then on the issue of VAT invoices, please, businessmen, we will advise that when we deal with taxpayers, whoever you deal with, demand your VAT invoice. If you have any difficulty, please let us know. And again, built in the Itas system, we are linking the e-VAT system, so that those whom we have given the right to use the electronic VAT system that we introduced will also be linked. Now, GRL has also introduced the micro-jurisdiction system, where we are dividing our areas into smaller sizes so that we can identify businesses. If everyone is paying and you know there's someone who is not paying, please be a citizen and let us know. We'll ensure that we'll go after that person and ensure he also complies. Now, Itas is data-driven, and for that reason, whether you are importing by land or by sea, every import you bring in, whether it is bulk or people come together and import, we are identifying these people and ensuring that they pay taxes. So if you are someone whose tax identification number is used to import and bulk, and you share it for those who come together to use your name, know that we'll come after you. Please, again, the VAT invoice is a document that you can use to claim as an expense in your books. So please, as you transact with people, you are talking about the Indians, you are talking about the Lebanese, you deal with them. But assuming you all decide that we are demanding VAT invoice, they have no way of doing business than to transact with you, because we all want to cut corners. That is why sometimes we find ourselves doing that. So it's an appeal. We are working together. We are partners. Where you are dealing with someone and you, because you want to cut corners, you are not demanding invoice, we'll come and find it in your accounts. And if you are surcharged, maybe next time you will not do that. So it's an advice. Let's all commit to making tax collection easy for GRE. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner General, ladies and gentlemen, I'm checking my time and it's 12:25. And I know Fridays are dangerous days for businesses because you have to go and close the week, you have to wrap up. So if you all permit me, I would want us to try to wrap this up in the next 5-10 minutes so that those going to Tema, those going to different areas can go and wrap up your businesses for the week. So the next batch of questions, respectfully, if you can be as precise and concise with your questions as possible so that we will have precise and concise answers and wrap up for the afternoon. Mr. Amegaibo, your hand wasn't up earlier. I've already committed to Samsung, Awingobit, and my lady at the back. So, but you let me take their questions and still look at my time and see if I can come to you. So please give the microphone to Samson, and then we go to the back.
Okay, thank you very much. My very good friend, I will come from my office. This morning, when the Commissioner General was addressing us, he used a very good adjectives, good words for us. And I think I wanted to recommend GRE for changing the narrative to say that you are our customers and we want to build with you. Unfortunately, when the lady was making her submission, you used an adjective that where I sit, it didn't go well with me, and I guess my colleagues too would not take that weight from you, because we will come after you. We used to have commissioners like that, commissioner general like that. We will come after you. It's not a good word. Because of us that you are in that office, we are working together. And what I'm going to say, my colleagues will agree with me. This is the only commissioner that I have come across that he's down to earth. He's always ready to engage his stakeholders. Say, let's discuss. And I think if you listen to him very well this morning, he used the word like family. When Akoto Bafo brought in AI, you saw how he addressed the thing. So please, we want to recommend Commissioner General continue like that. And I've heard you saying that there'll be training for your staff. As part of the training, tell them that when they go out there, this kind of languages, you don't want to hear from them. Because when we hear, we'll bring it back. If they come to us, they should come to us as partners. They should come to us as we are the relationship managers, customers, that they are here so that we will pay the rightful taxes. Than this kind of ways. It is not good. And we are in live television and portal. We are not happy with that weight. And I guess you will do the honorable thing by withdrawing those words for us. Commissioner General, when they talk about the implementation, they said they started with the Keneshi area. But I wanted to find out, why didn't you start with the large taxpayers first? See all the issues before you then come to the smaller taxes. That would have been the lesser way of addressing the issues or the problems that we are talking about. I was in Commissioner General, let me say GRA some time ago, some few weeks ago, and I was interacting with your Kimbu tax officers. I was told clearly that even within your backyard, ministries, agencies, and departments who have been giving suppliers to people and doing withholding taxes, they are not coming to pay. They don't come to pay. Why don't you bring them on Itas? Bring them on. Because if they do the deduction of withholding taxes and they are not paying, see you, our taxpayers that have gone to public offices, they've spent, they've paid, they've deducted, they are not bringing to GRA. But every day you come after us. Isn't it? We are vulnerable. We are not vulnerable. So we are not just spectators. We are actively participating. And we want to hear those words not come. So I don't know if Commissioner General, it has come to your attention. They are saying the ministries and departments who does withholding tax deductions, they don't bring it. Kimbu tax office. So I don't know if it has come to your attention. So bring them as you are bringing us on Itas. Bring all of us on Itas as well. My very good friends from Abusokai, they are angry. I can see on our platform, JCC platform, that they were not invited for this program. Please let your department be aware. Anytime they are sent, the president himself and my very good friend Teacher Ado, they are very, very angry that they are not involved in this invitation. So I'm bringing that to your attention so that at least next time when you are engaging us, they've sent them a letter.
Okay.
To
Samson, my time.
Yes, I will just end. I just want to find out if the smaller tax, as my very good friend from Gutta Jeff spoke about, these smaller people who supply, they get suppliers as well. They get big company, they supply. Even though their capital is 750,000. If they supply, and because they are not registered with the VAT, how do they pay? How do you get that payment? Because you've said if they register, they stand to benefit. But if they don't, it becomes a cost to them. That's what you said. When they pay, it's a cost. But if they register, they'll have their tax rebate or whatever you talk about, the terms that you talk about. So how are you treating them? Are you going to also engage them to talk to them to understand the benefit of it so that voluntarily they can also register? Because they also get more suppliers and they make more good money, but they are not in the net. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samson. So we'll take the final question from the back from this lady here. Okay, Chief, calm down. Let's take the lady's question. If I have time, I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Rosemary Awendo from Costco Shipping. but my question is unrelated to the business. It's a general question. Can we have an assurance that this Itas system is sustainable? That is, going to be running for the long term, several years, decades, I hope. Maybe just improvements if it's required, but not replacements, as we have seen in other areas like GRA customs. A system is introduced and then another one is come to replace it. Assuming that this is sustainable, I want to suggest on the education front, if can the education and training on Itas and general taxes, income tax, VAT, and so on, be extended to the tertiary and even the secondary education institutions, so that the youth who are coming up, I believe, if they appreciate the essence and uses and benefits of taxes, paying taxes, income taxes, and other corporate taxes, they would actually come on board once they start earning incomes. If they they earn enough to qualify to pay tax. If they are young entrepreneurs bringing up businesses, once they come beyond the threshold and are qualified to pay VAT and other corporate taxes, if they understand right from their education, they will all come on board. This helps extend their tax brackets to include all the SMEs, entrepreneurships, personal businesses, even personal income taxes. What is the GRA's take on the education of the youth in taxation and being inclusive?
Thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary has asked a very, very important question. And personally, I think about it all the time. In our nation building, different institutions build systems. And they all build systems, sometimes with different programming languages. So GRA may even want to integrate, maybe GRA's system is built on programming language A. The other institution is programming language B, so there is no integration. And so we launched something. We've had different systems at the ports, even GCNet, then we moved to this. So for her, for a business, can they be promised that once we launch Itas in 2-3 years, we will not have a need to launch IMAX, CTAX, and we'll just upgrade and add any other additions or subtract any other things we want? That's a very, very important question when it comes to the national development conversation. And maybe, if I may add onto a question, with GRA being the key institution ensuring national revenue, would GRA then impress on the state to ensure that every other system being built by any other agency is built in the programming language that GRA has its system, so that any other thing can link to GRA, so we don't have to be changing everything every other time? Thank you so much, Rosemary, for that question. Boss, you will have your 30 seconds, then we'll wrap up from here. Please, take the mic, your name, and yeah.
My name is Alistair Nelson, currently with the Minerals Commission, but I'm a freelance advocate on air. We talked about 80% because of we lack compliance. We're talking about compliance. And you said 80% of taxpayers don't comply. So here you are, you say the tax is cumbersome. You lack real-time information. There are disputes and frictions. How are you going to use the Itas to take away these problems so that compliance will come to zero from 80%? Then two, when you go to the advanced countries, I have friends who come from America to visit. If it's left with about 3 weeks to filing of tax returns, they run to America. They run back to Britain. Why? Because there's something in for them for the tax they have paid, the reliefs they get. In Ghana, what are the reliefs for taxpayers? We must be clear about it. We must let the public know. Then your approach to collecting taxes from those who pay. It's like anytime you are coming, we should run away. Yes, that's the relationship between tax collectors and then those who do business. I live on the Mataeko small tax collection office. I live on that road. And anytime your pickup gets on the road to go and visit businesses, people close their shops and run inside. I'm talking about real-time experience. I know what I'm talking about. How are you going to use the Itas to open up for businesses to walk in, to pay tax? Because we've been talking about partnership, we've been talking about simplification and efficiency, among others. And now, my last one.
Hey, Chief.
No, just to, it's a summary of everything.
Tax compliance, time compliance is part of tax compliance.
Indeed. But you see, then again, those who are not currently on tax net, who are paying currently on the net, doing business and other things. How are you going to find a very, open-minded way to get them to come on board, to pay taxes, rather than to chase them so that they close their shops when it comes to the digital space? Because physically, I'm saying we do it on my street. I can show you, I can take a video tomorrow and show you. When the tax people at Mataiko, when they are coming, people lock their shops.
Thank you, sir.
Don't do the same thing to the people on the digital platform.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, I will want to commend the Commissioner General, Anthony Kwesi Sapon. He says that he was on the other side in the past years as a tax consultant. I'm sure he worked with KPMG and other things. Today, he's on the other side, now on the collection side. How is he going to make tax collection very friendly? You understand? An approach where a small investor who has started a tabletop business will be willing and able to pay. Because if you're a sole proprietor.
Chief, I have all your questions.
Yes, no, listen. Even tax certificates for a sole proprietor, it's difficult. You can't get it.
Please.
You have to.
Annalisa, take this man's number and give him a tax break because he has too many tax questions. Please, for time
thank you very much.
Let me come. Please, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, this round, Awingobi started with the questions, and then we went to Rosemary, and we came to Chief here. Samia Megaibo, I'm sorry I couldn't give you the chance. I'm sure when we're having lunch, you can also engage. Now, Awingobi started with the expression that will come after you, and he said that as a family, we should not be using such expressions. I don't work for GRA, but as a Ghanaian, I think I'm a stakeholder in GRA. So, my senior brother, let me react to this briefly before I throw it here. When Chief was talking, he said that people rush to the US and the UK to file their taxes because there are reliefs, there's enforcement, and there are also consequences. In our country and in the businesses we do, we know that there are businesses which are very compliant. And there are some people who also know that this is the way, and sometimes if you don't enforce and put some fire in it, sometimes some people also don't comply. In fact, there is a leading politician in Ghana who once said that a law without enforcement is just an advice. So I believe that if that expression was used here, it was used because there are people who deliberately try to avoid paying taxes. It wasn't because of you people here who are working with the GRA. So that is what I understood by it. So I wanted to just mention that. So back to the panel to answer the questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Samson, thank you for attending this event because you are a partner with us and you always go with us. You did also mention the, should I say, the frustration of our key partners from Abosokai, the business community and our partners for also are very, very important to us as GRA. Want to assure that if they didn't get our invitation, it wasn't intentional, because we are working with them constantly, every month, every quarter, we are meeting. So we'll step back and correct it. But certainly, we will still also have, as I've already mentioned, this is not the first and last. We're going to have specific business associations. So they should pardon us for this oversight, but we recognize their importance. And of course, something as you are aware, as I said, as in family meetings, sometimes it gets heated up. So if we use any word, any phrase that didn't go well, please don't take it to heart. Let it end at the family meeting. That's where we go. But important, I think the emphasis that we are making is that we are investing in systems, we are investing in data. So if we're a compliant taxpayer, you're already in the partnership with us. For those that are not compliant taxpayer, the decisions and actions will be supported by data, and we'll find such individuals and businesses and bring them to the tax net. And when they do, and they pay their fair taxes, all of us will be working towards contributing to the state. I think I'll go back to the... Yes, that's a very, very important. So this is one of the key observations we made last year, that similar to also private businesses, there are state institutions that also withhold taxes and do not remit it to GRA. And we know that for state institutions, it's even more of paramount, because it's the taxes we pay that are used to run public services and state institutions. So if a state or public institution is not paying, GRA will find it to be more grievous. Therefore, beginning of January or February this year, we've changed the rule with the support of Ministry of Finance. Anytime any ministry or agency or public institution, the ministry is sending money to them through controller to pay services, controller is now mandated to withhold the taxes at that point, and it's the net that moves to the institution. And I want to assure you that we have implemented this for 4 months or so, and already we are seeing the big result that is coming. As at the end of May, for example, we're hovering about $500 million through that process. So what you experience or what they told you is a thing of the past. We've changed the rules to make sure that the money is withheld at source and it stays straight in government coffers, instead of round-tripping to institutions, coming back to GRA before government have access to it. In terms of the comments from our lady, we thank you very much for the suggestion. Indeed, compliance and building trust is also anchored on tax education. If citizens and businesses are well educated about their tax obligations, we believe that the chance for them complying or engaging with us as GRA to ensure that even if they have difficulties in complying, we can have the middle ground will be higher than when they are not educated. So last year, November, we launched what we call the Sustained Tax Education. Part of the model is also to educate existing taxpayers of the obligations and rights and incentives that they have, but also importantly, to also rope in our future taxpayers. So part of that education models will be running. We'll be working in partnership with universities and other higher learning institutions, so that as people go through our formal education, they have first-hand education of tax responsibilities, because eventually we become the taxpayers of the future. So this is a situation that we are taking seriously, and very soon you will see the rollout of this program through our tertiary institutions. Then in terms of the sustainability of the system, yes, we do agree with you. Every time we make a change in system, we have to admit it is a disruption to business, because every change comes with learning, and every change comes with acceptance, and every change comes with changing the processes of business. So we don't intend that when we bring in such a significant system, it will be short-lived. So as far as we are concerned, the Itas is here for the long run. And that's why we've taken pains to make sure that the features that we've put in Itas can easily connect with other state institutions. So to the point that we've made us Itas the flexible point. So irrespective of the systems that other institutions implement, the flexibility will be in Itas to be able to interconnect. That way, when other institutions even change their systems, Itas will still have the capability to do that. And again, we are also doing that with the customs side, the ICOMs. Today, the customs has run for 5 years. What we are doing is to ensure that we are modernizing it and we are expanding it and we are making it work with the new Itas that is coming. So we want to assure that this change is not something we intend to repeat in the shortest time, but we want to work with it, mature it, and perfect it so that the benefit, both in terms of experience, benefit in terms of sustainability, will accrue to taxpayers and all of us. And then lastly, to my brother who has the issues about the enforcement and compliance and some of the enforcement measures that we undertake are very disruptive to the businesses of some small businesses. We acknowledge, and as we said, we are also in a transformation phase of ensuring that we become a service-oriented authority, a business-oriented authority, an authority that is in partnership with businesses. But we do know that taxes are sometimes very difficult for some of us to pay. And that's why, for that reason, the law, in the wisdom of our lawmakers, when they put the minimum compliance measures, also add on to what we call enforcement measures, so that in the event that businesses do not ordinarily comply, then you can trigger in a bit of enforcement. But we do accept in principle that that is not the norm, that is not the rule. The norm is to engage, to partner, educate, and work with businesses, and that's where we are. On that note, our encouragement, it's really to always ask businesses and taxpayers that do not wait for GRA to come running after you. In fact, our laws allows us as GRA that if a taxpayer comes and say, I know that I have to pay taxes of 1,000 Ghana, but to pay that 1,000 today, my business cannot support it. I need 3 months, I need 6 months to pay. GRA, by law, can restructure for you to pay. Sometimes the difficulty is that after you restructure, the same taxpayer will not be disciplined to follow the same requests that they bring. So these days, that's why we do. The law allows us to restructure for some time. So when a taxpayer can say, okay, you yourself tell us, this amount that you cannot pay, how long do you think you can pay? And if you say 3 months, most of the time we'll accept the 3 months. And we now hold you onto it because we didn't impose the 3 months on you. So these are all part of the reforms and working relationship that we are forging. We need patience, we need time, but we want to assure you that we want to work with you so that paying tax will become something that we'll look forward to, not something that we will run away from. So very soon at Mateco, we want to be engaging more and want to ensure that the people there, when they see officers, they are running to embrace them, not running to close their shops.
We are wrapping up, and Robert, I'd like to know if you have any further reactions to the questions, Robert and Mrs. Assam. If you don't, then I want to know the next steps. Where do we go from here? We've had this nice engagement. What are the next steps? What should businesses expect from the GRA when it comes to iTax?
Thank you very much. Itas is live, and we are rolling by faces and by set of taxpayers. If you get the notification and you are invited to any educational program, please come. Join us so that you appreciate what we are doing. If you have any challenges, please engage us. Don't wait until the last day before you try filing your returns. Start early so that when they are HS, we'll be there to support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Robert?
I think taxpayers don't need to wait. They can take the opportunity to start learning from their colleagues who are currently onboarded onto Itas so that they can learn the rudiments of the system, so that when it gets to their turn, they'll have it as easy as possible. So please, don't wait till the last day. You can speak with your other colleagues who are currently on the system so that they can give you tidbits as to how to navigate around the system. So that will be my take.
Thank you. I'll read a comment from some of our online listeners. This online viewer says that something is right. The GRA over the years has had a posture of chasing us. And I think that this new Commissioner General is trying to change that. They make taxes punitive, and they don't see people and businesses as partners or customers. And we like the new posture. So this is a message. So those who joined online on YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much for joining online and YouTube. I'll give the final word to the Commissioner General. And I believe that after this final word, we can wrap up and network and close. So Commissioner General, you have the final word for today.
So my final words in terms of this session, Itas is here, and Itas is for us. Itas is to make our tax obligations simpler, fairer, and efficient. So we appeal to you from GRA that as businesses accept it, embrace it, and be ready to work with us to use Itas. How can you be ready? Let's not see the change as a disruption. Let's see the change as progressing towards a better and efficient tax system. I ask you to get some of your teams in businesses to learn the Itas, especially those who can. Create your own Itas champions in your business place, as we are doing at GRA, and we'll connect them to ensure that using Itas becomes something that we look forward to. So that ultimately, when Itas is at its full maturity, and all of us have embraced and working with it, we will realize the full benefit of the transformative experience that we believe Itas will bring us. So on that note, we'd like to thank you from GRA for joining us, and we look forward to having a real positive experience on the journey of onboarding Itas to all of us, and ultimately support us to raise the minimum 310 billion by December 2028. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for Commissioner and his officers. And thank you too. Please clap for yourselves. Please clap for yourselves. This is what national development means. When we gather, we talk, we share ideas, and then we dream together. I hope that this engagement, we can all build on it. We can all champion Itas. We can all grow our businesses and grow the country. God bless all of you. Enjoy the Friday and the weekend coming up. We hope to meet you at the next GRA event. And I pray that as GRA is thinking of doubling the revenue, you quadruple your revenues so that when they don't even get there, you can dash them money. God bless all of you. Enjoy the rest of the day. On behalf of the team, thank you for coming. Thank you. God bless you. Yes, so the association leads here, if you can come up for a group photo, tag, freight forwarders, Greta, Fabag, consultants, all of you, all the leaders here, if you can come, Guta, if you can come up for a group photo. In fact, if you are in this auditorium, please wait.